Most High, alright? Technically, if you think about it, our Creator is talking about whom the world calls Jesus Christ, Yahweh Shai, alright? You read the scriptures, Yahweh Shai is the only spirit whom the Most High created. But, really, he did it because he created Yahweh Shai, alright? But actually, I'm actually going to get into that in another lesson too. It says, read it again. While the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Hold on. Salakia. What's that talking about? It's talking about coming into this truth when you're young. It's not talking about waiting till you're 50 and 60 years old and your body ain't working quite the way it used to, and now you want to say you want to accept the Lord and now you're going to church. No. It's talking about coming in this thing when you're young. The scripture says that the honor of the young man is their strength. Okay? Let's read verse 2. While the sun nor the light nor the moon, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. It's talking about basically wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Okay? While it's here, you better get into this thing while it's available. Verse 3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. Now what's that talking about? Job loss. Because you got like the slang basically on the street. A nigga say basically I'm on my grind, meaning he's working, he's trying to make money, alright? Or he's on his job, his actual job, trying to make money. That's what he's talking about. I'm on my grind. I'm getting my grind on. Right? Well, that grind is gonna cease. Okay, and it's slowly or rather quickly but surely ceasing as we speak. All right. Those jobs are they're getting lost. They're gonna continue to be lost until basically you really ain't gonna see pretty much anybody with jobs. All right. It says verse 4. And the door shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and the daughters of music shall be brought low. Alright? And you see all these businesses out on the streets, banks, and certain shops and all that, and stores, supermarkets and all that shit's gonna be closed down. Real soon here in America, all that shit's gonna be closed right the hell down. So, if y'all are into that holiday shopping, I suggest you do that shit soon. Alright? Because this might be your last year to be able to do that shit at the rate that everything's going. And it also says the daughters of music being brought low. Well, that's pretty much why music is in the state it's in now. Just utter bullshit. And that's really all that needs to be said on that. Okay? Now, here's what I want to get to. Because like I mentioned earlier, these other countries are now starting to see America for what it's worth, alright? Primarily the so-called white man, but really America, alright? Because it's the so-called, or once was the so-called standard of truth and honor and all that shit, and currency and monetary money, alright? Because for the most part, up until now, basically, at least as far as Russia and China goes, with the world economy, these countries did business in the dollar, alright? They didn't primarily do business with their own currency. It was primarily with the dollar. But now you got these countries dropping the dollar. Alright? You got certain countries you go to if you want to take a vacation, and you can't even use the dollar in these other countries. Alright? It's like $3 to €1 in certain, or $3 to £1. Alright, the dollar is pretty much worthless. Okay? Which is why starting with the elders, we believe that this asshole Bubble Eye sold out, because how the hell you got all this money to travel like that? Okay? So anyway, let's read this. Obadiah verse 1. It says, the vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord power concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, let us rise up against her in battle. Alright? What's that pursuant to Joel, the 3rd chapter? All these other countries are basically raising up in military might raising up against America. Okay, so they're tired of all the bullshit. It says verse 2, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. What's that talking about? All these other countries are now looking at America, in particular the so-called white man, which we're talking about here, as the piece of shit that he really is. Alright, he's a liar, he's a traitor, he's vile, he's a damn cancer, and that's all these other countries are looking at him. Alright, it says verse 3, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? So they're talking about the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, because you're so proud. Alright, because the Most High basically is one who's allowed you to get the fatness of the earth. Alright, who's allowed you to get control of this whole earth, but you don't acknowledge that the Most High did that. You're proud, you're so damn proud that basically you think that you got it on by your own, which is why you got sayings such as like, we talk about the Marines, the United States Marines, the few are proud of the Marines. Nothing can stand against the U.S. Air Force. Right? You really think that you're gonna go on forever? You really think that basically
the proud,
you're your own guy?
the Marines.
Well, Most High is gonna cut all that shit short soon, real soon. All right. Verse 4: though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest amongst the stars, thence will I bring thee down. Now, who is the only race of people that use the eagle as a symbol? Alright, as their national symbol. Alright, it's talking about the so-called white man, and particularly America. He did it in ancient Rome. He's doing it here in modern day Rome, which is America. Hell, even with Adolf Hitler, or Adolf Schicklgruber, I should say. They used the eagle when he had his Nazi war machine going. Alright, they used the eagle as their symbol. Alright, as the so-called white man. Verse 6, let me scroll down. Whoops. Okay. It says, how are the things of Esau searched out, and how are his hidden things sought up? Well, first off, the Most High you have to be a prophet of the Lord, okay? And you have to, the Most High basically has to reveal you his secrets, alright? Either through the Spirit, or through watching the videos of the elders who break all the things down, or all the camps, okay? And where do you find and search out and seek out the hidden things of Esau? In the Holy Bible, in the Scriptures, okay? With the proper knowledge and understanding. Alright, verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy about thee, even to the border, the men that were at peace with thee, have deceived thee, and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. So, like I said earlier, all these countries, alright, it's a given that America's enemies are coming against America, but now even countries that were so-called at peace with America, that are allies or were allies with America, now they're enemies. Alright? Because America doesn't listen to anybody on the earth. America does what the hell it wants to do, under the rule of the higher ups, the elite. Okay? Oh, that's all I want on that. Okay? Now let's go to James, the 5th chapter. Alright? Because we mentioned the US dollar. We mentioned the US dollar basically being dropped by Russia and China, alright? And all these other countries basically don't want to even have to do anything with America, not even just the dollar, but with business and trade in general, okay? Because they're realizing, like I said, how much of a liar and a thief these so-called white people are, okay? The American so-called white man, the European so-called white man, and in particular you fucking so-called Jews, you rats. Alright? You're a bunch of damn liars. And you're gonna be destroyed, okay? These other countries, these other heathen nations are tired of you. Alright? Alright, let's read this. James 5:1. Go to now, you rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Alright, who's the rich man talking about? You got the rich here in America, you know, you got your millionaires and whatnot, but really, it's talking about the super rich, the ones that